We will start things with an old record that got a repress for the first time in 28 years last year, and I'm talking about Tales from the Twilight World by Blind Guardian. This was originally released in 1990 on No Remorse Records and Virgin. On Blind Guardian's first two records it was more all-out speed metal, and on the ones after this it was more power metal, and this one is the perfect blend of the two styles. And I think the band was one of the first metal bands I discovered, and I really liked their first two, besides this one. After this they moved on to more power metal, symphonic metal, and somewhere far beyond, and Imaginations from the Other Side are still good, but with Nightfall at Middle-earth I feel they lost their touch, and for every record it seems like they have moved further and further away from their speed metal roots. And I don't like it. Anyway, this record is fantastic. The instrumental of Weird Dreams is not especially good, and Lord of the Rings is just decent, but the rest of the tracks are awesome. The vocal performance by Hansi Kürsch, the drumming from Tomen Stauch, and I usually don't like guitar solos, but on this record, Andre Olbrich and Marcus Siepen's solos and leads are twin guitar work are exquisite. And you get a guest appearance by Kai Hansen from Halloween and Gamma Ray, both on guitar and on vocals, on the track Lost in the Twilight Hole, probably the very best track on the whole album. And I am a bit biased, since this was one of the first metal records I ever bought, back when I was maybe 13-14 years old, so the nostalgia might cloud my expression of its perceived greatness, but it's super. Anyway, this was re-released in September of 2018 on Nuclear Blast, along with the other four, the first four, and it was available in a couple of color variances, but my local record store had the black, so I bought that one. And it comes with the lyrics and with liner notes. Here's a This is Weltschmerz from the band Totem Skin. And if you're not familiar with Totem Skin, the band was formed in 2012 in Sweden by Christopher Öster. They released their debut album Still Waters Run Deep in 2013, and in 2015 they released Weltschmerz before calling it quits. And their musical style is a mix of a lot of genres. It's crust, post-metal, black metal, hardcore and doom, but put together in a very skillful way. And Weltschmerz was released in 2015 by Adagio 830, Halo of Flies and Protagonist Music. And it contains 7 tracks and has a running time of just over half an hour. And as I said, it's a cocktail of several different genres, but the songs are quite similar in both sound and structure, making the album very cohesive, despite the many influences and stuff going on. And every track except the last are mixed together, like on Rain in Blood, which is very neat. And my favorite tracks are probably The Mouth of Man, Pretend, and I de blindas rike, den enögde kung, the last track. And my version is the black one from what I believe is 2015. You get a lyric insert. Here's a snippet. Up we have the self-titled record from Dödsrit. Dödsrit is a black metal crust post-hardcore one-man project from Dalarna in Sweden. And if you're not familiar with Dödsrit, when Totem Skin disbanded, Christopher Röster continued on by himself and started this band. And apparently most of the material was intended for Totem Skin's third release, which never happened. And I believe Röster does everything except vocals, which is handled by 2 guest or session musicians. And this record was released in 2017 on Alerta Antifascista Records. And this record also has a big variety of styles and influence combined into a cohesive record. There are more black metal and less crust and D-beat than on the Totem Skin stuff, but I prefer the 2 vocalists in Totem Skin to the guest vocalist here. I think I prefer Weltschmerz to this record. If I have to choose one, I would pick Weltschmerz. The record only has 4 tracks, where the third track, called The Void, takes up more than a third of the total running time of 30 minutes. And it's kind of short, but that makes you want to repeat it. And all 4 tracks are very good, but I think that Gräva sin egen grav and The Void is my 2 favorites. And I have the second pressing from 2018. And my version is the Alerta Antifascista exclusive. It's clear red with black haze, limited to 100 copies. And it comes with a 50 by 50 poster of the album artwork. No lyrics. Alerta Antifascista has copies left if you want to pick it up. Here's a snippet. Next up we have Dödsrid's second full-length, called Spirit Crusher. This was released in 2018 on Prosthetic Records, and I ranked it at place number 10 on my Album of the Year list. And there are no major differences between Spirit Crusher and the debut, but everything is a little better here. It has more of everything from the production. It's crystal clear, but not overly polished, and the songs are more layered, and there's something interesting going on almost all the time. And Spirit Crusher also contains 4 tracks like the debut, but the songs are more layered and a little longer, making the record 15 minutes longer than the debut. And all 4 tracks are excellent this time around, but my favorite is A Drowning Voice. In my year-end list, I complained about the vocals. Looking back, it was a little harsh. The vocals are fine, but it would have been even better if there would have been some more deep growls from time to spice things up even more, like in Totem Skin. And I believe Röster does everything on this record also, except vocals, which is the same 2 guest or session members like on the debut. And according to Metal Archives, the band now consists of 3 additional members, but I don't think they were part of this record. And I think I got the European first press. The record is clear with black and purple splatter. Maybe this is not first press, since it says on Discogs that it was purple with black haze, which this isn't. The other versions has other colors though. Who cares? You get a lyric insert. Here's a snippet. Continue on with some more black metal. I found this band through one of Kanyon Bickels' videos. I'll post a link to his channel in the description below. He has very fancy stuff to show. And this is Gods of War at War by the Greek band Macabre Omen. And if you're not familiar with Macabre Omen, it's the brainchild of Alexandros Antonio from Greece. The band was formed in early 94, but it took 11 years and a handful of splits before they released a debut full-length in 2005 called The Ancient Returns. And Gods of War at War is their sophomore release. It was released in 2015 on Van Records. And the record contains 8 tracks and is just over an hour long. And what you get here is a very epic and triumphant black metal. All songs are very long, but they never get boring. There's always something going on. And one thing that stands out is the vocals. It's very varied, from growling to black metal rasp and mental patient shrieks, all in the same song. Highly entertaining stuff. And it's a double LP. The record was available in 2 color variances, one gold and one black. And my version is the black one. It comes with 2 printed inner sleeves and a booklet with lyrics. And I think Van Records still has copies left if you want to pick it up. Here's some snippets. we have a CD. This is Sunless Vein with the record TBVLATEWB, or The Blackest Volume, Like All the Earth Was Buried. And if you're not familiar with Sunless Vein, it's a band from Michigan in the US. At first they were called The Traitor, but changed their name in 2014 or 15 to Sunless Vein, and as Sunless Vein they have released a compilation of stuff released under the Traitor name and one split with Geist. And The Blackest Volume is their proper full-length debut. Excuse me. It was released in 2017 on Inner Strength Records. And the music that can be found on this disc is a mixture of grind, hardcore, black metal and sludge. Sometimes it's very fast, sometimes it's very slow and atmospheric. No matter the tempo, the atmosphere is always dark. And I hear some Analna Track on some tracks, but on the track with Fear, This Love Is Given, I get a strong Cult of Luna ISIS vibe. It's a very diverse record, and I think that it's a must, because the record closes in at 53 minutes and it contains 11 tracks, and they all range in length, and a couple of tracks is just above the 2-minute mark, but two of them are they're over 8 minutes long. And it's a digipack. You have lyrics, and you can buy a digital copy on their Bandcamp, but if you want a physical copy, it's only available on CD. I have no idea where to pick it up. I don't remember where I ordered my copy from. Here's a snippet. Next we have a release from this year. This is Forgotten Paths by the one-man band Saur. Saur. I have no idea how you pronounce the name. If you're not familiar with the band, the band was formed in 2013 in Glasgow, Scotland, and they have released 3 records prior to this, which is also very good, but I don't have a physical copy of either of those. What we have here is atmospheric black metal. Essentially it's a mashup between black metal, epic power metal in the form of Rhapsody, Look At You Really, and the soundtrack from Braveheart. The record contains 3 long epic tracks and 1 instrumental outro called Exile. All 3 songs are very layered, and there are a lot of things going on, and they are all really good. And this was released by Avantgarde Music in February this year. Highly recommended. The vinyl is black, and you get printed inner sleeve. Here's a snippet. Closing out the video, we have some straight up Brazilian death metal. This is Annihilation by the Brazilian band Rebellion. If you're not familiar with Rebellion, the band was formed in 1998 in Porto Alegre, Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil. They released a debut full-length, Burn the Promised Land in 1999, and an EP called Bringer of War the year after. And in 2001 they released Annihilation before splitting up. And then they reunited in 2015 and released their latest record called The Hell's Decree in 2015. Annihilation consists of 9 tracks of furious Brazilian death metal. Think of it like early Christian with added intensity. It's almost full blast all the time, even when the tempo slows down. The drummers all over the place, highly entertaining. And the vocals are awesome, and the riffing and even the solos are great. My favorite tracks include the title track, Red Spikes, Unleash the Fire, and Bringer of War. It's highly recommended if you like death metal, and especially from Brazil. It was already released in 2001, but my version is the 2016 Hammerheart Records reissue. It's on clear vinyl and limited to 100 copies, and I think Hammerheart still have copies left. Here's a snippet. That was it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.